or not? Okay. So you will be able to see all of these. I don't know when, but I guess if you have a campus tour, you will be able to see them. We have a doctoral college. We have a Center for Latin Studies, which also works a lot with Latin American universities and institutes. And we have archaeological museum, in addition, of course, to other units, research units within the university. We have 3 languages of education. This is why you can see at the university some programs are given entirely in English, some programs are given entirely in French, and some programs are given in both combinations as well. So the student can choose whatever he or she would like to enroll in, which language would like to take. And sometimes, of course, we have some topical programs, like, for instance, history, let's say, it's given in Arabic because it's based on the Arabic language, or like Arabic literature. So things like that are given also in Arabic. Now I'll move to the second part of my presentation. I spoke about the roots. I spoke about a general view of the university. Now I'll talk about the internationalization efforts of the university and its international orientation. So internationalization at USEK takes different forms and different shapes, either through memberships, student mobility, staff mobility, joint degree programs, international projects, agreements and partnerships with other universities, and intercultural events on campus as well. I will start with our partnerships. I'm not sure you can see the USEK logo everywhere in different parts of the world. So we have about 160 agreements with universities in different parts of the world: Europe, the States, Latin America, and the Arab countries as well. And these 160 academic agreements, believe me, are quite active. I mean, even if we are, be it with student mobility or maybe joint projects between faculty, but they are all active because we undertake an evaluation process regularly for these agreements and these partnerships, and whenever the partnership is not fruitful, so we don't have any interest to continue, so we simply stop it. We have also a dynamic, these are our most dynamic partnerships as well. As you can see, George Washington University, Bordeaux, New Jersey, Strasbourg, different. I just chose some logos to show you the partnerships we have. And we have also partnerships with embassies, with companies, with cultural actors, with civil society organizations, and with international organizations as well, always to serve our students better and to give them more opportunities abroad or even here through the embassies. These are some programs of our joint programs which are the results of these partnerships. One of the programs we are so proud of is our LLM program, which is the first in Lebanon with Indiana University and with Syracuse University in the US. And now I guess we have 8 students in the US following this program. And we have a joint master degree also with New Jersey Institute of Technology. We have a graduate diploma in management with HEC Montreal. And of course, there are many other programs. I just chose those 3 for you. We have also a variety of global memberships. And why do we have these memberships with organizations abroad? Because we always work on sharing of experiences, and they are like pools and places of gathering of different universities. World Bank among the best performing universities in the Middle East. In 2015, we acquired also the accreditation of our student services, which is Matrix accreditation. For the study abroad program, for the orientation office, for the registrar, for the student affairs offices, for the quality assurance. So these student service offices were also accredited by Matrix, and I'm proud to say we're also the first university to have this accreditation in Lebanon. And now we are undertaking the procedures to acquire American accreditation as well. This is all what I have to say about internationalization at USEK, and now I'll be more than happy to answer any question you have.
Thank you for your presentation. I was just wondering if you could tell us a bit about what the role of USEK in Lebanon is in terms of, is it making a significant cultural impact in Lebanon and the Middle East? And just a little bit about that.
In terms of impact, of course. As I said, we are the first university to be established on a Lebanese, purely Lebanese initiative. And this gives us great value in addition to our teaching and learning, excellence in teaching and learning and other aspects. So traditionally speaking, if we go back to the roots, the university has already an impact. Now in terms of the modern activities of the university, of course we do have an impact. We're taking part in national decisions on the national level, and not only taking part, we're active members. I mean, we have people heading units or centers established by the Lebanese state or Ministry of Education. Sometimes we are leading these units. We actively take part in the decision making of everything related to education and to higher education in Lebanon. So we do have a great impact. And in terms of our student population, as you could see when I show you the map, so the different centers of the university, the different campuses, they have local impact where they are, because if you could notice, the campuses are located in somehow rural areas, like in Ermesh and Zahle, and we're trying to promote and to preserve the presence of the Maronites in these areas. So this was part of the impact of the university. You did? It's nice there.
Thank you for presentation. So from the presentation, I understood that you guys are very encouraging students to go and study abroad, Lebanese students. So my question is, aren't you scared that if they go and study abroad, they might not want to come back and work in Lebanon and instead stay in the foreign countries and encourage foreign economies instead of coming back here?
We would never be afraid of this. Look at you. You are here. So whenever our students go abroad, they would acquire more. They would get exposed to different cultures. They would be easily able to adapt in any situation. And if you look around us, it's the age of globalization. So we of course, we encourage them to go abroad. Not to stay there, of course, because they would come back. We are sure they would come back. And some of them, of course, some of them would stay abroad, but they would have their contribution as well as Lebanese people living in a different country and contributing to the elevation of this Lebanese culture and our Maronite culture, if I can say. So no, we're not afraid at all, because we're sure they would come back and they would contribute. Even if they are abroad, they would contribute to this country as well.
Hi. Rima, I wanted to say, yes, yeah. I felt very intrigued to hear about the internationalization plan that you have and you're implementing. Just looking at visual arts now, given that it is in itself an international language, do you think there's scope for developing things like artist residencies, exchanges between, different countries based on those terms? Is there scope for developing something along those lines?
So yeah, it's working. What what we are planning now in terms of internationalization is not static. I mean, we are moving in the direction of our students' interest, our faculty interest, and whatever serves our students and serve our community members, we would go for it. So this is why you can tell that our strategy is not a static strategy. It undergoes some improvements sometimes. Sometimes, you know, we acquire a lot from different institutions, from different universities, but we find out that it's not applicable here. So it depends on the context. Given our context, given our demands, it's based on the demand of our community member. We can, of course, change the strategy. We can, of course, there's a scope for improvements. There's a scope for changes. There's scope to respond to the needs and demand of our community members. Okay? Did I answer your question?
Yeah. I don't know if you're going to be here during the break. Maybe we can chat a bit more.
Of course we can.
Okay.
Of course.
Hello, thank you for the
Hi.
presentation. I had a question about tuition fees.
Yeah.
So does the government provide any support for the students, or is it completely private?
It's a private university based only on the tuition of the students themselves. But what we do here at USEK is that we have our social affairs office that provides assistance for students who are in distress. And we also provide excellence scholarships for outstanding students. And believe me, compared to other universities, we are doing great. And we also try to work on finding opportunities for our students through other agencies. Like, for instance, I mentioned Erasmus, I mentioned different agencies, international agencies that encourage, let's say, study abroad or sometimes local studies as well. So we try to work on this a lot. And we have our social affairs office is very active with 6 social assistants who are available all the time for the students to study their files, to see how they can help in a way or another. But it's a private university.
Hi.
Hi.
About the online courses, what does someone need to apply for these courses? What are the requirements? Do you have to be in Lebanon, around the world? What?
No, we have students from, as I said, from different parts of the world. Now, in terms of requirements, everything is available on our website, which is www.usec.edu.lb. So you can find all the information there. You can find the open courses and everything related to online courses. But you don't have to be here in Lebanon. So this is the purpose of the online courses. This is why we have people joining from different parts. We have sometimes diplomats joining from different parts of the world as well.
Hi.
Hi.
Through the Internationalization Task Force, I'm curious what you learned about what students' needs, what they're curious about, what they're interested in, and what the results of that task force were.
The task force, Internationalization Task Force, does not work on students only. We have different aspects of internationalization we are working at. But part of it, of course, is related to students, to study abroad. Personally, what I learned is that at a given point, we needed to create an international culture among students. Sometimes they are afraid of this step they're going to take. And we're trying to encourage them to move a little bit, to go out of their own cocoon, the family cocoon, and to try to discover new horizons, new perspectives. So this is why you see, I'm not saying all of our students are resilient, but some of them, quite a good number of those students were a little bit more afraid. So what we did is that we launched a campaign to encourage them to go on a mobility experience with different meetings. I personally made different presentations for students in different faculties and different units to encourage them. It's just, you just have to give them this little push and they would be able to do it. But this is it, mainly this is it. I said there are many obstacles, but these obstacles can be worked on, can be dealt with. But on their own personal level, this is where we need to work more.
Hello, thank you for your presentation.